Hall of Famer Joe Montana on Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes' It Factor. This is from the Rich Eisen Show, live from Las Vegas. Radio Row, Super Bowl week. We got Plankton and SpongeBob in the background there. All the sights, all the stars are there. And what a bigger star during Super Bowl week than Joe Montana, the greatest San Francisco 49ers quarterback to ever live. He knows quarterbacks. He knows San Francisco, so I'm going to let him tell me. He's not wearing Skechers. Usually you see Joe in Skechers. I wonder if that deal, the brand deal, is over. But we have defended Brock Purdy hardcore. Okay, somehow I have fallen to being the champion for Brock Purdy. We broke down his stats. We broke down his stats compared to Aaron Rodgers' MVP season, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all of the greats, Josh Allen this season, Lamar Jackson this season. We trust Brock Purdy. We like Brock Purdy here. But I didn't win 4 Super Bowls. Okay, I won 1 3-on-3 flag football intramural championship at the University of Southern Mississippi. Didn't throw an interception all season long. It's not what we're here to talk about. Let's let Joe tell us.
Where do you stand on the subject matter of Brock Purdy, Joe, as you know that everybody keeps talking about?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about. The guy's playing pretty good football, and everybody's still doubting him. And I just think that he understands this offense. He understands the people around him and the things he doesn't force balls. He doesn't have to. But you can always tell when a guy is comfortable in an offense when he's playing like Brock's playing. And
the thing with Brock Purdy, I mean, I don't really have an answer to the question. The question is, how is Brock Purdy doing this? Even if you bring the question down to, is Brock Purdy good? Is he actually good? Or is he, people have said a game manager, a system quarterback, he's just operating in the offense. We debunked all of that. We debunked that was the case. He is more of a gunslinger. He is less of a game manager than Aaron Rodgers was during Aaron Rodgers' last MVP season. He is more of a gunslinger, less of a game manager than Josh Allen was this season. He pushes the ball downfield, and I'm not talking yak. Okay, I'm talking throwing the ball downfield, air yards, all of that. He handles blitzes better. He's pressured more. There are a lot of stats that contradict this idea that he's just a game manager and he's just a system quarterback. Now, it is one of those things where it does fool the eyeballs, because my eyeballs tell me he's unassuming, he's small, doesn't really have that great of an arm, doesn't do anything spectacular seemingly. But then you look at the numbers and it's like, man, he is having a year comparable or comparable, as a lot of my friends say, with some of the greatest seasons we've ever seen from a quarterback. Not good. I'm talking greatest. I'm talking MVP level performances. That's what Brock Purdy has put together. So if your answer is, well, anybody could have done this. Anybody with this kind of a team around them could do this. Nope. We looked at quarterbacks that had all-pro wide receivers, best defense, best running back, best wide receivers. We looked at all that. None of them really stand out above Purdy. Purdy is doing something different than just game managing. That's obvious. How good he actually is he just catching lightning in a bottle? I don't know. To me, he kind of seems like a knuckleball pitcher. He seems like a knuckleball pitcher where my eyeballs, my sweet eyeballs, they want to take the 6'10", left-handed, 101-mile-an-hour throwing Randy Johnson. I don't want to take Tim Wakefield. I don't want to take a guy who's throwing a knuckleball 55 miles an hour. But Tim, in this long-winded metaphor, Tim Wakefield would be putting up better numbers than Randy Johnson. So at some point, I have to sit back and say, well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe this. I'm conditioned to believe the 101-mile-an-hour fastball and the 6'10" and all that. Somehow Brock Purdy is getting more out of him, out of what his skill set is, than what Josh Allen is getting out of his skill set passing the ball. Here's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not. We did the work. Brock Purdy is pushing the ball downfield more. He's throwing the ball further without any yak before any completions at a more accurate level than Josh Allen and more than Aaron Rodgers' MVP season. Right now, Brock Purdy this year has been more accurate and is throwing the ball on average 2 yards further downfield than Rodgers. Rodgers had a much shallower depth of target. he was checking the ball down more. He was more of a game manager than Purdy. Same with Josh Allen. We all know about Josh Allen's cannon of an arm. Well, then why isn't he throwing the ball further downfield than Brock Purdy? And if your answer is, well, he doesn't have the yards after the catch, the other, this is before that. Again, don't be a fool. Okay, this is taking all of that out. So the question is why? The question is how.
One thing I always say, that don't second guess him, second guess the draft. I mean, he's proof, Brady's proof that they haven't figured out what the draft, how to draft, right? What's important, what isn't important, because you just don't know who's going to make that transition. And I don't know why people were second guessing him. I think there was a stretch there where they struggled. And this is just me saying this because I don't know. I don't hang around down there. But he just wasn't the same person. I don't know whether he was hurt, a little injury here or there, or what. But he just didn't look the same. And then all of a sudden, it came back.
Yeah, he got concussed in one game, I thought. And
he got absolutely destroyed with a concussion. Didn't miss any time, which I'm not sure I'm not sure how in today's day and age that's possible, but different video for a different day.
He didn't miss a start. Yeah. But he definitely did not look as sharp as he normally looks. Yeah,
and he's playing well right now.
So when you watch him play, do you dissect thinking where the ball should go, what he should do, and
no, it's hard to do that unless you know the offense. Sure. And I don't know Kyle's offense. I know that I try to sit. I love being in the end zone up high watching games.
Sure.
And so you get to see from behind, kind of feel that you're used to seeing, not from a sideline view. People like the 50-yard line. I like the right down the middle of that goal post. So.
Yeah, see, I like the all-22 view because I'm used to seeing, as a fan, he likes the end zone view because he's used to seeing it as a player. It's very interesting. It's also interesting what he said about the draft. I mean, it's true. How can the same system be good at finding the number one overall quarterbacks that work out, like Joe Burrow, but then how do they miss on people like Tom Brady, Brock Purdy, people who slip, people who fall, even the Drew Breeses of the world and whoever else? What is missing? I think there is so much more to than just the physical gifts. And I think the combine, the draft, all of that does lend itself to mostly the physical gifts. You can see the arm strength, you can see the speed, you can see workouts, you can see the physique, you can see their build, all that, but you can't see their character. You can't see how they lead a room. You can't see how they handle criticism or how they handle, losses and wins and fame and money. And there's so much that goes into it. There's so much that goes into the draft process. And maybe, I don't know how you can quantify the intangibles. What makes up a person, what makes up a leader, what makes up a quarterback. I don't know. But Joe's right. I mean, it is a huge flaw in the system that we can miss. The same system can give you Jamarcus Russell first overall, but then give you Tom Brady in the 7th round. How's that possible?
Yeah, so you can see the offense, you can see the holes open up, you can see the receivers and those holes opening. And but yeah, no, you try to watch and do it, but the ball comes out quick for him, and he's making quick decisions.
And then the other side has a guy named Patrick Mahomes, and
who?
Right? I can give you a research packet on him if you need. I've got pages and pages and pages, and it just appears that we can now confirm he has an ability to raise his level of game or his focus, his awareness, and you are one of the few humans on the planet that knows how that must feel. So how does one do that?
Mahomes is a good example too. Mahomes is an example of like at Texas Tech, he was good. He was throwing it, and sorry if y'all hear sirens, ladies and gentlemen, downtown New Orleans, Mardi Gras, I'm pumping out content. Meanwhile, moon pies are banging on the side of the studio. So if you hear sirens going on the entire time, it's a moon pie situation here. Mardi Gras all the time in downtown New Orleans. But Patrick Mahomes is a guy where you look at him in Texas Tech. Yeah, he's a gunslinger. Yeah, he pushed the ball downfield. Yeah, he had some physical traits. But there was nothing that said he could get to this level. I mean, I've seen enough. He is in the same conversation of Tom Brady. It is Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. I think it could be a similar, not exactly, but it is kind of like a Michael Jordan LeBron thing where, Brady has this body of work that we never ever thought would be touched, and then immediately this guy comes along of Patrick Mahomes, and you have no. Will he get to the numbers that Brady did? Will he get to the number of Super Bowls and all of that? I don't know. Like same with LeBron getting to Jordan's, the amount of rings and all of that, but you can't deny Patrick Mahomes is the same, where you can't count him out. You can't really beat him. If you do beat him, it's by the grace of God. Like, you have to take him to overtime or you have to do whatever else. Given the opportunity, he will win. Doesn't matter who's on his team. Doesn't matter who's hurt. Doesn't matter who his wide receivers are. Doesn't matter if he's on the road, if he's at home, whatever. Patrick Mahomes, I wrote them off this year. I said there's no way this Chiefs team can do it. They have nothing offensively. But Patrick Mahomes is that good. He is. I think I think we could be watching the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. I think Patrick Mahomes, if nothing else, I'd be pretty comfortable saying when it's all said and done, he will be number 2. He will be behind Tom Brady. But if he continues, he's going to be above Brady. I mean, he will be the gold standard, which is crazy to think that within a couple years, we could already have the next great quarterback
in the playoffs, Joe.
A couple of years of Brady retiring. Brady retiring, his career being over, and then boom, immediately Patrick Mahomes is kind of ascending into that same stratosphere.
You want the person who wants the ball, right? You want. He has that mentality that he doesn't care what the score is. He doesn't care if they're winning or if they're losing. He's playing on that same level. And he doesn't, and when they're in behind, you would get people who go, hope we run the ball. He's not like that. And you could just see in his demeanor, like I said, even when they're winning, he has that same.
Yeah, but there's a lot of quarterbacks like that. There's a lot of quarterbacks like Brett Favre, I'm sure was like that. Peyton Manning, I'm sure was like that. They ain't Patrick Mahomes. He is different. He is better. He is a different level than even those guys.
Look in his eye and the feel. I mean, this is what it's about right here. Coming down this stretch and the way he's been playing. And, you keep looking around. I keep going, why do they keep getting rid of all these guys around him, the receivers and running backs, and then the new groups come in, and it doesn't seem to affect him at all.
Doesn't matter at all.
And if somebody said, well, where do you put him in the league? I go, he's in a whole another category. He's a freak in the way he plays. What he does, left-handed, sidearm, whatever he has to do, he gets it done. He's accurate with the ball even when he does it. Great escapability. He'll run if he has to, but most of the time he's looking down the field, and just a fun player to watch.
Yeah, I know, but I guess it's difficult to ask somebody about the it factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it's difficult to take an intangible and to try and quantify it. Like, you're in the NFL, right? If you've won a Super Bowl, if you've gone to a conference championship, if you've done all that, if you won an MVP, you have the it factor. Like Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger had the it factor. He, played for a long time, played with one franchise, went to multiple Super Bowls, multiple conference championships, all of that. He obviously had the it factor. But even an intangible has different levels. And Patrick Mahomes' level of all of that is just so much higher.
As you just pointed out, like, you blame the draft, not Brock Purdy, right? Yeah. How do you see the it? How do you know if somebody has it until you see it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can go back and look. There's probably just as many busts in the first round as there is in the later rounds. And
oh yeah, there's probably that's another great point. I would say there probably is more busts, in the first round than the sixth round or whatever. I mean, the first round, it's crazy how many misses there are. A system that you would think would be so good by this level, it just isn't any better right now than it was 10 years ago, as far as identifying what quarterbacks will be good.
So
How are you able to just? How were you,
I don't know. I don't know if there's a way, honestly.
Did you just feel calmer on big Super Bowl Sundays? Like, did you just go in the other direction? Is that what it was?
No, you just have a. I've always wanted to get hit first, right? Just to get me back, my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, otherwise you keep thinking, waiting for that first hit, and then all of a sudden things seem to change in my mind differently. I don't think. Well, these guys don't get hit as much anyway, so that's probably not a big part of their game.
Mm-hmm.
But you just go into this, preparation mode that, helps you when you get on the field. You're not thinking about what's going to happen because they're already ready to go. And you can say everybody prepares, but there's different levels of preparation, and obviously these guys, and when you see Brock and you see.
But I think it's interesting too with someone like Joe Montana. This is what I always talk about: where great coaches or great players don't make great coaches, great quarterbacks don't make great quarterback coaches, and whatever. It's hard, I think, for Joe to put into words just like what he felt during those games and what he thinks they feel. Like, it's so individualistic. I mean, he's talking about getting hit. He's talking about preparation. He's even having a difficult time of not only saying what it felt like for him, but then could you imagine him trying to tell that to a quarterback? Like, hey, what should I do on Super Bowl? Oh, just, I don't know, get hit or make sure you prepare or something. It's like, that's your advice? You won 4 Super Bowls and you're considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever live, and that's the advice, is prepare and get hit? This is a good example of, when you're at that level, it's difficult to bottle it all up, explain it, jar it, package it, and sell it.
Patrick, man, they prepared, and you can see it because it shows up on the field. And that's why they look so calm. Nothing bothers them, because they've prepared themselves at a different level than everybody else.
Catch the Rich Eisen show.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't think it's preparation. It's unknown. I mean, it really is like the Loch Ness Monster or something, where it's just, we just don't, even with all the technology we have now, with all the whatever analytics and things that we do in the NFL, and we can't find the system to find the quarterback. We can't get it perfect to where busts don't happen. And just like, we don't know if Bigfoot exists, right? We don't know if the Loch Ness Monster exists. Why? We're out there putting satellites on the moon, but we can't even figure out if there's a sea monster lizard creature living in the lakes of Scotland. But good interview here with Joe Montana. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know also your pick for the Super Bowl. Last game of the year. Unreal. Then we're fully in the offseason. Let me know your pick. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.